Another episode of Trash Talk. With me, as always, is TJ O'Connor. Tonight we have Mahmoud Aburia, who's getting ready to fight December 21st at Canterbury Park against Jimmy Barnes, who's making his pro debut. Trash Talk is brought to you again by Valhalla Combat Sports, Ink Strings Tattoo out in New Brighton, Minnesota, Mile High CBD Buds, and TJ's mom. How you doing
Always.
tonight? How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you guys doing, man?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, man. It's been a long time. I was excited to see that you're getting back into the cage. This is going to be your first MMA fight quite some time. Obviously, you've been very active in the meantime, and we'll get into that. But when you got the call and you made the decision to get back into the cage, what was that like?
Man, I mean, it was awesome. I fought Ron Winslow like 7 years ago, and I lost to him, and I knew kind of the holes I had in my game. And so I decided then, I was like, hey, I'm going to just focus on my striking for a little bit and kind of do that. And then when I'm ready, I'll get back. Life takes different turns. I didn't think it was going to be 7 years, but I've been focusing a lot on my striking in that time and, fighting boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. But, I talked to Bjornberg about it a couple times, told him, I want to get back in the cage and let me know. And I had a fight with Brian Hedin. I was supposed to fight, but didn't go through how we planned and everything. So when he messaged me about Jimmy Barnes, I was like, man, let's go. I'm ready. I want to get back in the cage, and that's where I want to be.
Oh, yeah. No, I like that you said that you were taking some time off, or not time off, but you wanted to focus on your striking, and you've been taking the kickboxing and boxing matches. Leading up to this fight, getting back into the cage, as TJ said, what have you been doing to get ready for the grappling aspect? Have you been doing any grappling the whole time you've been taking your boxing matches and kickboxing matches, or have you just started working your way back into it now that the fight's been announced?
So during my boxing and kickboxing matches, I would have a couple grappling matches and jiu-jitsu competitions. I fought on the Valhalla card that they have. So I did that, and I had, 2 jiu-jitsu matches that night. So that went good. And then, just kind of been on and off with it. Haven't been 100% focused on it, but I still been kind of on and off with it, so I haven't totally left it.
Yeah. What was that in the back of your mind when you started taking more kickboxing and boxing matches? Was MMA still on your mind when you started doing your boxing and kickboxing? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, MMA, I love it, man. I love it. It's like something that, no matter how much I do like kickboxing and Muay Thai, I love doing kickboxing. You know what I mean? I love it. I have heart for it, but MMA is just something that's always been like, man, I want to get back into it. I want to do it right away, So I knew in the back of my mind, like, I'm doing this right now, but I'm going to eventually go back to doing MMA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's – I'm sorry, go ahead, Damien.
Sorry, I was just going to say I do have to take a brief moment. We're going to cut to commercial for a second. I'm really sorry, you guys.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, and having that intention, I mean, we talk about the layoff you had, but I mean, you're still young. I mean, 27 years old, I believe. So I mean, with this layoff, because you got into MMA so young, such a fast start. I remember when you made your pro debut against, a veteran in Zach Jensen, kind of took the state by storm. Had a lot of fights really fast, and then this hiatus, so to speak. Meanwhile, you're headlining cards on kickboxing shows. You fought, I mean, probably anybody that's been legit coming out of Minnesota in the last 5-6 years. You've been in the ring with them. That whole time, knowing you're coming back, has this just all been part of the plan to make a run as a professional now, being where you are right now?
I mean, yeah. When I started doing MMA, I didn't have any intention of anything. I was just kind of doing it, just out of high school and whatnot. And then once I started fighting, I was like, man, this is the shit. You know what I mean? I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, once they offered me Zach Jensen, I think it was like on a week notice or something like that, at the Target Center. I took it and I fought. And after I won, I'm like, man, I'm going places. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I'm going to, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't have to fight anybody that's nobody. You know what I'm saying? I can fight the top of the top and do it, And so that's kind of where where it went from there. I had that Muay Thai fight against Tommy Matlin, and man, that guy's a beast. I would say he's probably number one in the state as far as heavyweight for Muay Thai. Told me about it. I was like, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not beating the best, then I'm going nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Well, you spoke on the fight with Zach Jensen and taking that fight so soon, and being so young and everything. I'm like, man, I had a question. I totally just messed that up. No. Okay. No, actually, I remember. I'm going to save myself. So going into that fight, like, there's this quote from, I think it's Ken Shamrock or the younger one. But he was saying when he fought Nick Diaz, I couldn't believe he was doing it as he was doing it. And he was talking about talking the shit and hitting him in the face as your punches were landing. Because I know you're not really too much of a shit talker, but could you believe you were doing it as it was happening? Because I know for a fact everybody in Minnesota was all shocked. And I knew who you were. I knew what you could do.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to be that easy, man. Like, you dominated. What did it feel like after that and after a performance like that?
I mean, look, man, before that fight, I had no jitters. I didn't feel anything. You know what I mean? I was like, man, it's just another day. They even messed up my intro song. And I was like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We'll just walk out to whatever it is. I got in the cage. I saw him. I didn't feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was such short notice and such like a big fight. You know what I mean? And the odds were stacked against me. I read somewhere it was like 91% chance I was going to lose or get knocked out or something. I was like, man, I got nothing to lose. I might as well just fight, but the first round kind of went whatever. But after I landed, I threw a jab and then I threw a hook, same hand, left jab, left hook, and it landed. I was like, oh, man, this is working. And I threw it, and you'll see me like twice in the fight just throw a flurry because I was like left hook, right hook, left hook. I was like, oh, this shit's landing. And as I got more comfortable, I was like left hook, right hook, left uppercut, and then I threw a couple knees, and I was like, man, this is, you know what I mean? So I couldn't. When I landed it at first, I was like, man, it's landing. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I don't know if you remember at the time, I was more, they labeled me as a striker, but at the time of Zach Jensen, I was more of a grappler.
Yeah.
I would stand up a little bit, but I wanted to go to the ground, and I shot a takedown on him, and all 265 pounds fell on me, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do that anymore. And so, but it was amazing. And like the best feeling of that fight was at the end of it when I took him down and I landed like 3 elbows. I was like, man, I'm a pro now. I could do this shit, So,
oh yeah,
and then afterwards I was ecstatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's so fun to listen to you talk about that. I mean, even this long ago, because I remember being there. I mean, at the time, we were all just some kids, and we just wanted to fight people. And I remember listening to you talk, the confidence grow as that fight took place, and what you seen in your performance, and what that transitioned into in your fights moving forward, ultimately leading into the kickboxing. Was that the fight where you truly fell in love with striking?
That was the fight that kind of let me know that I have to find a passion for striking. You know what I mean? That was kind of the fight where I was like, I'm not always going to be able to take someone down. I'm not always going to be able to just sprawl out and hit somebody. I'm going to have to stand up and punch him in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of, that was the fight that kind of sparked that for me.
Yeah. Now, we spoke, you said that you were more of a grappler back then,
Yeah.
Let's get a little bit more into your background. I mean, obviously, I'm more familiar, but to the people that don't know, what did you start off in? What was your first martial art?
I mean, I wrestled. I wrestled all through high school. Did a bunch of like freestyle and Greco tournaments, stuff like that. Never really wrestled in college, but I did. Right after I got done. I started training with some guys, and it wasn't really the best, and that's kind of when I found Crystal Fight Club, and
OGs for life.
I found my old buddy Damian Hill over there, like, hey, come out to Crystal Fight Club, check this shit out, So I was like, man, I gotta go over there, and basically just found a bunch of guys that were really good wrestlers that wanted to hit people, so
Well, I get because I think Stefan was already there. It was me, Stefan, Brett. I don't know if Brett was already there before you came, but then when it was us four, I just feel like, dude, the team just started piling on top of it, and we just started getting all of the right guys and right people. I mean, that was the nostalgia moment to the people that are watching. Sorry, like that's me and Mahmoud go way back. We went to high school together. I mean, I used to make him carry my lunch to the lunchroom for me and set it down and have my napkin and everything. No, no, me and Mo, we go back even to middle school. This is
I mean, but I can tell you for sure that Brett Murphy, he was there before me because when I came in, I thought I was hot shit for a little bit, and Brett's like, hey, let's spar. And I'm like, man, I'll beat this big ass dude up. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. And I remember I think he threw a jab or a cross at me, and he literally punched me out the front door. I mean, I back, ran into the door, fell down, and I was on the sidewalk right outside. You know what I mean? You remember we would spar like close to the door, and he literally punched me out the door. And I was like, you know what? I'm not really that much of this shit.
Yeah, maybe I should practice some more. No, but dude, I do remember you bringing back a whole bunch of memories now.
Yeah.
Because we were literally in a room that was the size of my living room right now. We just had mats from wall to wall on the floor, and like I mean, I've never actually been pushed outside the door or whatever, but I've definitely we're grappling, we're doing the exchanges, and it's a wild scramble, and then all of a sudden I notice, I'm like, oh shit, we're right by the door or we're right by the window, and then you just kind of like hit the brakes really quick. But yeah, dude, those were the fucking golden days.
Yeah. No, I mean those days were the best. Such an intimate gym, and I remember my first day walking in, and there was a guy called Mahmoud who was sitting there, and they were like, "Yeah, you can go with him." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I got an idea. I'm pretty badass." And I remember he took me down in about 2.5 seconds, went straight into full mount, and goes, "All right, now get up." And I was like,
"How?
Yeah, you're sitting on me, man. How am I supposed to get up?" And that was my first day. So, man, looking back on that and getting a chance to talk to you now, all these years later, it's so much fun. Seeing you back acting in the cage. Your opponent for this fight, Jimmy Barnes, making his pro debut. He's had a couple of good fights as an amateur. He's highly ranked. What do you know about him as a fighter? Have you guys crossed paths? Because I know there was a time there where you guys were both popping in and out of Valhalla. Have you guys ever crossed paths at all?
We didn't. I don't remember. I don't remember seeing him or ever working with him. I do know he's a grappler. I know he's a good grappler. And by his name, I know the type of grappler, Jimmy the Bull Barnes.
Yeah.
So that's really all I know about him. Not too much else. I know like I said, I know he's a strong grappler. He's a big guy, strong guy. So I know that's as far as I know about him.
Okay, so knowing that you've been focusing on your striking, you do have a wrestling background yourself, but knowing that that's been his go-to in his fights, and last MMA fight was 7 years ago, do you think that that's what he's going to try to look to do? Probably think that your ground game isn't there, or it's not what it used to be. And do you expect him to go out there and try to wrestle with you, or do you expect him to try and stand with you, shock the world? Because, usually when guys go in there thinking, I've seen this happen before, where guys go into a fight thinking that their opponent's just going to wrestle, and then they get their faces bopped off, What do you expect from this fight?
Look, as far as, preparation, I'm preparing for everything. My striking, I'm still going to prepare for it like I'm going to fight a world-class kickboxer, boxer, whatever it is. I'm still going to train that way. Same with the grappling. I'm going to train as if I've never seen a grappler as good as him. But my thing is I'm going to go out there and do what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be prepared for whatever comes my way, but I'm not going to wait for what he's going to do. I'd like to initiate what's going to happen in the fight. But as far as preparation, obviously, I got to prepare for whatever he could throw at me. I got to prepare for whatever comes my way, just like any other fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And with this fight, the one thing I hate asking, we never ask, is anything regarding the game plan. But if you focusing on yourself here, what's the one thing that you have to bring to the cage on December 21 to make sure that your hand gets raised?
Man, I gotta be myself. I gotta be myself. I gotta be active, and I gotta initiate. You know what I mean? Like I said, I gotta initiate. I can't wait for anything. I gotta be the one to initiate the pace, the how fast we go, how slow we go on the ground, on the feet. I gotta be the one to initiate all of that, and that's kind of where I see my hand getting raised.
Oh yeah. Now, if you had to, if you had to call it right now, submission, TKO, or knockout.
I'm just gonna say victory.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's yeah. I'm probably never gonna ask anybody that question again. I feel like a dick for it, but that was that's the best answer.
Yeah, Damien is BB tells me to say, "Dick question, perfect answer." I love the mindset, just knowing that it doesn't matter where it goes. I mean, like you said, he's a wrestler, but when you talk to a guy that's known for their wrestling, you have to assume he's always working on his striking. Whereas guys that are working, I mean, it's mixed martial arts. This is going to be his first pro fight. When you made your pro jump, you went against an experienced veteran. He's kind of making the same type of jump. Do you think that, I guess I can't ask you, do you think it was too soon for that jump, or do you think that there's a level there between the amateurs and pros and he might not know that yet?
I think there is a level. I think there's levels amongst amateurs. I think there's amateurs who have their first fight, second fight, versus amateurs who are coming in third, fourth fight. I can't say much about it because I went pro after 3 amateur fights. So the one thing I can tell you though is him making the jump to pro is he knows there's nothing to lose. You know what I mean? So he knows that, hey, I'm going in there. Shit, I don't got nothing to lose. So I know that's an obstacle for me to get over is that, hey, he's got to know, shit, you do have something to lose, which is the fight against me, but his mentality, my mindset against Zach Jensen was, shit, I don't got nothing to lose. I'm going to go out and do whatever. Nothing's going to happen. If I lose, it's expected. If I win, it's great. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm assuming that's how he's coming into the fight, but, like I said, as far as experience goes, that's something I'm going to have to show when I get in there. I'm going to have to, show the difference between amateur and pro. Obviously, the 5 minutes, makes a difference. And I don't know now, knees and elbows. I think they're still legal in amateur, if I'm correct, right?
To the body.
Yeah.
No elbows.
Knees to the body are legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For amateurs. Okay. Yeah, like I said, it's still, it's still a different game when you're, when there's elbows and knees getting thrown wherever, you know what I mean? So it'll be different for him, but I think his mindset is going to be, I got nothing to lose,
Oh, yeah. Now, before we wrap this up, is there any teammates or sponsors you'd like to shout out? Or anybody inside your life that's just showing you extra support more than someone else's, TJ?
Honestly, I gotta give a shout out to Warman Muay Thai. That's my that's the gym I train at. Cooley, head coach over there. Just the complete, just best coach. You know what I'm saying? The way he's taken time and fixed my striking is unreal. You know what I mean? And so him and the whole team over at Warman Muay Thai, the push they give, the motivation is completely insane. I got to give a shout out to Valhalla. That's my origins. You know what I'm saying? That's where I started, and they're by far like one of, if not the best grapplers in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Which is saying a lot coming from Minnesota. So it's a lot to learn from over there. I don't know, man. I always give a shout out, my family, friends, my wife. Biggest shout out to my mom. You guys know that after every fight, I always got to thank my mom.
Always.
I know the feeling. I got to thank TJ's mom after every single one of my fights.
Same. That's why she's one of the main sponsors.
No, well,
absolutely, yeah.
No, man. Mahmoud, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. I couldn't be more excited for this fight. When it was first announced, I just texted Damien with one of those Home Alone faces and was like, oh, shit, we got to scrap here. December 21st, Mahmoud Aburia going against Jimmy Barnes, Canterbury Park, Driller Promotions. Buy your tickets now. Buy them for Christmas. Buy them for your friends. Buy the tickets. Be at the fight.
Absolutely. Thank you guys, and I appreciate you guys taking time with me too as well. Thank you.
Always.
Are you listening? Damn.